All right, guys, here we go. Hawk-Smolen podcast, week number 1, getting underway here. We're going to start with the street stocks on Monday night. That was on February 7th. Smolen, do you recall that race?
I do very clearly, yes.
North Wilkesboro was the track. We had some incidents early that day with the driver. We had some incident with David and Keith. Early, both those guys no longer in the league, Smolen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think they were jumping into this race thinking that this one and only race on iRacing NASCAR was going to be calling them right after if they won it. Obviously, this is one of our beginner series that we have here, so um, I just don't quite think they thought the race was going to be what it was, right? I mean,
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they were barking up the wrong tree. Like I said, this is the entry level into the league. I mean, there's nowhere else to start other than asphalt street stocks. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, this is where we welcome all drivers to come in, test the waters out, and we see what they have, they see what we offer, and everyone's out here to just have fun, right? Like this is the beginning of the week. We've all had stressful weekends. We come out here, run some street stocks, and call it good.
Yeah, it was. It was a great night of racing. After we got through that incident there, we got ourselves into the main. But before we got there, we had our heat race winner in the first heat. That was Brandon Parks. Pretty good driver overall, finishing in the one spot there. Cole Howard was 2 in that heat, and Jay Bones finishing 3rd in that heat. Do you think that's where they should have been?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, obviously Brandon Parks, he he started first and he led every lap and maintained the lead. And he is a good driver. He comes up with some accidents here and there, but overall, I'd say he's a great driver. And we can roll right down the list there. Half those guys, they're in every race that we run. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That heat had Derek Sellers in there, Keith, Michael, and Dennis Anderson. So that was a good heat for Brandon to win. Then we had the second heat where you guys may be wondering who this guy is on the other side. That's Justin Smolden. Like I said, Justin's going to be on the podcast with me, the Hawk-Smolen podcast weekly is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot to have these out by Thursday night. So, Justin, hey, good win there in that heat race in the street stocks in the second heat, outrunning a lot of good drivers in there.
Yeah, I got lucky to start up front there, and I had a decent car. I was able to just kind of squeak it out a little bit. Obviously, later in the night we had some issues with David, but this race here it was a clean race. He raced me clean, and I was able to just put in five solid laps and was able to squeak out the win.
Yeah, you and David and Andrew Irwin out there, your top 3 in that heat. So got it done. Had Keith and Paul and Cody also in that heat. So we'll head over to the consolation in that race because there is a lot of cars that come out on Monday night for the street stocks. Not only is it the opening of the week, but it's also hey, we're ready to start off a fresh week, so everybody's out ready to run. And Monday night started out no differently. So Derek Sellers ends up winning that B main ahead of Keith and Paul. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, we always have a really strong group of guys that come out Monday, and everybody knows that normally on a normal week, this is the car to get into, just to kind of get out there, and you're not getting ran over usually. So it's always a good time to get out in these cars for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and if you are getting ran over, like I tell these guys, it's asphalt street stocks. I mean, there's no other class that I can put any new guys in other than this. So, like I said, and a lot of veteran drivers still love to drive the street stocks, which I'm totally fine with. You know what I mean? It's just they have to be patient with the newer guys coming in. That's the biggest thing with the asphalt street stocks.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the veterans understand that the new guys don't know what they're doing. That's why they're here, right? And we give them tips, we give them as much help as we possibly can. And it's I think it's crazy to have guys that come in and just want to run people over, and especially in this series. In any series it shouldn't be allowed, but especially in this one.
Yeah, and speaking of running people over, when we go through the list on Monday night, and this is just in the feature race here, and now, like I said, North Wilkesboro, it's a tough track, but we go through the list here, and we look at the one guy who had 0 incident points in the street stock race, Cole Howard.
You gotta love it. He's always strong, but he knows how to run these things. But that's what gets you up front, right? Is knowing how to stay out of the incidents, obviously, and the 1 and 2. I mean, even Jones only has 1. Everybody else, we piled them up. I mean, myself blaming there too. I got 8 myself, so it's hard for me to harp on these guys too much when I got a big old 8 early. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you go through the list, like I said, and of course we're going to call him out if we see him every week. And this guy, and the feature of an asphalt street stock race, Andrew Irwin, ended up with 24 incident points. That's a crazy amount, Smolden.
that is an amazing amount for only having 50 laps too, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure what you're doing out there to get that many. He might have gotten hit a couple times. I don't know if those are all his fault, but either way, that's a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll break down the top 5 in incident points. It's going to start off with Andrew at top with the 24, and then we're going to head right down to Cody. Cody out there in the 01 machine ended up with 20 incident points, and then that's going to fall back onto, it looks like Corey out there in the Napa Know It Everything with 17, and then we go to the 16 of Rafe, and then we have another 16 marker from J-Bone. So these guys, I mean, it's a hot number. Once you start getting into the 15, 16 incident points, man, you're either been involved in a lot of accidents or you've caused a lot of accidents.
That are just unlucky, right? It could be one way or the other, but yeah, it's a tough track. It's these cars are, it's the lower series that we run, but they're not the easiest cars to handle, right? And you see guys going fast, and you want to go fast with them, and usually that causes issues.
Absolutely. So we'll break it down here. It was a great night, North Wilkesboro. Cole Howard got the win. Chris Jones finished in 2, and Derek Sellers somehow or another finished 3rd with 15 incident points. I don't know how he was able to do it, but that's your top 3 for North Wilkesboro in the asphalt street stocks. Not bad, Smolden.
Not bad at all. I'm glad it's over with, but it was a good race overall. It was fun.
All right, now we're going to head on over to the 203 Truck Series that also was ran on February 7th, right after the Street Stocks. That Smolden Series, the 203 Truck Series. Very happy to have him on board here. We did a qualifier, and then we went right into the A main with these guys at Eldora. And looking here, looks like Jess Gordon ended up taking that win there. Chris Jones in a 2, and Derek Seller once again finds himself on the podium.
Yeah, Sellers is he's been solid as of late. Absolutely. I mean, those 3 guys up front right there for sure. Jess Gordon, he's a beast on anything that's got any kind of pavement on it for sure. Jones is just good overall on everything, and then Sellers. I mean, he's new to this league, but he has really stepped up his game and shown us how to all be fast on any kind of vehicle or any vehicle, right?
Absolutely, and it goes back, like I said, we'll see the incident points here, and the man with 0 incident points in this race, Chris Jones. I mean, to have the truck at Eldora on dirt sliding around, 0 incident points, that's pretty great.
It's unbelievable. It's almost impossible. I'm not even quite sure how that's even doable, but
Yeah, well,
altogether though, if you go through the whole list there, I mean, there's not. I mean, you got Cole Howard with 10, but there's not another single or double-digit guy until you drop down to the 12 car and the 12 incident points there. I mean, for Eldora on on dirt in trucks, that's crazy.
yeah, these guys did a great job all night long. Like I said, when you have 6 incident points in your top 3 in trucks, that's pretty badass. So great run out there. Like I said, Gordon winning it, Jones in 2, Derek Sellers into 3. That's going to wrap it up for the trucks. Now let's head over to where we at on Tuesday night, where we got all the dirt we can handle here, Smolden. Tons of dirt.
Love the dirt. Love the dirt. We all love the dirt, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with the 360 division. That's ran on February 8th, and that was at Cedar Lake. And we'll pull up the first. We only did a qualifier and did a race there. So looks like your number 1 qualifier was Chris Jones. And is that a surprise? Not a surprise there, right? I mean, hey, when the guy's hot, he's hot. You know what I mean? So, Chris Jones, bringing home that qualifying number 1 looked good there, and then of course the breakdown of the order, your top 3 in the 360s, Chris Jones, Justin Smolden, and Jamie Kephart. I mean, you can't ask for a better top 3 than that, eh?
No, it was a great race for the team. Obviously, Jonesy's always quick on dirt, and he's always a handful to even keep up with, let alone beating. This race was crazy though. Here, this was probably one of the better ones out of the week. We had some really fast guys with Derek up front. Uh, he hit the wall. He crashed. allowed Jonesy up there. I believe there was another car right in the 2 spot right around him, or 2 of the 3 spots. A couple of the guys crashed up front, and it led to Jones, myself, and Kephart getting up front, and we just kind of, I wouldn't say ran away with the race, but it allowed us to get up there and stay away from the rest of the pack. But it was an odd start to the race, but we finished well.
Yeah, you guys did a great job, like I said, and we look at Sellers, how great he had on Monday, and how fast that can change on Tuesday. Now going from the top three in both those races on Monday to finish in seventh here in the first race on a Tuesday. So just hey, the sprint cars are a different breed, man. Especially the 360s. You get these tires slicked up. The track out there was crazy, but once again, like I said, you guys were able to dominate. Jones, Smolen, Kephart, your top three. And the sprint car is not bad. Now we're going to head over to the next race that we do on Tuesday night. That's going to be the big blocks. They're also at Cedar Lake, and these boys did put on a show. Smolen with the heat race. Chris Beavers laying down the win there in heat number one. How do you feel about that order? Beavers, Jones, Valentine, your top three in heat one.
And look how close those guys were at the finish there. I mean, we have Jonesy not even but what 0.16 or 0.162 behind. I mean, those guys, they were close. It was good racing. The heat races were absolutely amazing to watch these guys run around this track in these cars.
Yeah, they did a great job. That heat consisted of Beavers, Jones, Valentine, and Cole Howard rounded out that top four in heat one in the big blocks. Now we head over to the heat number two. That's where we had Wyatt Walker dominating that 85 machine. Ran away with it, man. Had a fast car. And like I said, anytime you're in front of Jamie Kephart, who's very dominant on dirt, especially in the street stocks, but Jamie Kephart loves his dirt racing. So anytime you can finish ahead of him, bro, hey, give yourself a pat on the back, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you gotta walk away going back to your pits feeling good when you can finish in front of him. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we had John out there, John Salvador, making his way in that three spot, and Justin finishing in the four in that heat there, heat number two. So then we're going to go right into that feature where, hey, we look at the incident points here again, and I'm very impressed of what I'm seeing here. The highest incident points in the big blocks is 8 from Valentine. That's not bad for 12 cars out there, Cedar Lake, big blocks. What are you thinking?
12 cars out at Cedar Lake. This track slipped off pretty good in the feature there late in the run. I mean, these guys, there was a few incidents where they were running 3 wide too. So to only have the max out of the whole field have 8 incident points, and you're hitting the wall every so often too, because you're pushing it. You're riding that whole wall all the way around, or you're at least trying to, right? So, I mean, it's not hard to get an incident point, but to only have the top guy have 8 is crazy. But look at that top 3 though, 0. That is unbelievable how they can pull that off and be that fast around this track as well.
Yeah, very dominating performance, like I said, all the way through. Looks like Coy took that win. Chris Brown there in the second spot, and Chris Beavers rounding out your top 3. Beavers racing for Flowers Motorsports. Definitely one of their top drivers over there, and I believe Coy actually just got signed up racing with them too, so another great pickup, and that's a 1-3 for Flowers Motorsports. How do you feel about that team going forward?
I feel real good about him. It looks promising for him. I mean, look at Coy. I mean, he started the racing first around the pole, and he led every single lap. So he obviously knows what he's doing. The Flower Camp definitely knows what they're doing on dirt, and most of the cars that we provide for him. And I look forward to my team versus their team. It makes for a good competition. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look at it here. I mean, like I said, the Choice Inc. Esports guys, they had some cars out there. Cole Howard, Jamie Kephart, and Chris Jones recently on board there. So, I mean, hey, you got drivers from different teams and different cars. And but like I said, I feel like, the boys over at Flowers Motorsports, they have the dirt locked up at the moment. Now, teams can change. But,
Unfortunately, yes, they have a wider spread of drivers and different cars, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Choice Inc. We'll pick our game up a little bit here going forward for sure.
Yep, Choice Inc. definitely will get it together. Like I said, they got a dominating asphalt team at the moment. But we're going to go ahead and get over to the Pro Late Models on dirt. That was also at Cedar Lake the same time, Tuesday night. And once again here, we had some heat races, and we had some good heat races here. We had one heat race for the night, and that was won by Coy, racing for Flowers Motorsports. And then Chris Jones bringing it home for the Choice Inc. Esports guys. And Derek Sellers racing independent out there, bringing it home in the 3 spot in heat 1 in the Pro Late Models. How do you feel about that?
it was another good heat race out of here, different car, but same track. And it just shows you that these guys that run these dirt cars, the more time you get out on the track, no matter what kind of car you're running, it helps. I mean, Coy was just dominant.
Very dominant. Now we're going to go straight into the incident points here because we have a big number that I have seen, and it's popped up, and it's like bleeding red on my eyes on the screen here. Now, Cole Howard finished 5th in this race, but he also had 18 incident points, Smolden.
Yeah, it was a bad night for Cole here. We weren't all too thrilled with it when we went back to camp and we got back to the trailer, but sometimes bad night's a bad night, right? So we all had to talk with him, and I feel like we got it figured out. We'll get back out on the track next week, and I think we'll bring our A game next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's very, very rare to see that many incident points from Cole Howard. So, like I said, and looking at your top drivers here from the Pro Late Models on dirt, you had Coy win it. Derek Sellers, once again, finding himself in the top 3. It won't be long before he finds himself on somebody's team here, I can guarantee it. And Chris Beavers rounding out the top 3 here. I mean, Derek Sellers, all I see is podiums with that guy.
He's either podium or very consistent. He's probably out of all the new guys that have joined your series as of late, he's by far the most consistent guy. He's a great guy too, right? I mean, he's very personable. You can talk to him. He's a great guy. I enjoy watching him race. I enjoy racing against him. And like you said, he should end up on somebody's team here real soon.
Absolutely. Now we're going to change the focus over to the dirt street stocks. That's the last race that we run on Tuesday night. Also at Cedar Lake, another dominating performance here by your number 1 qualifier, Jamie Kephart. The guy dominates on dirt. I mean, dude, I think he's won the last 5 or 6 races on the dirt street stock circuit. What's your thoughts on him?
Obviously, he's one of my teammates. I was glad to see Choice Inc. grab the second victory of the night on dirt. So we tied up with Flowers' team. Like I said, we got ourselves a little competition team wise amongst ourselves. It's all fun though. I mean, there's it's a game, but it's fun at the same time, right? And bragging points is what it really comes down to. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Kephart on Dirt Street Stocks. He's like I said, I'm on his team, and he gives me tips and helpers and all kinds of stuff, and I just can't. I can't keep up with him, no matter what I try doing.
All right, and that's exactly what it comes down to. It's bragging rights. We all come to do this every night, Monday through Thursday. We log onto our computers. We hang out with our boys in the Discord, and we go out and we have fun. You know what I mean? We run these races, and, yeah, we got our different groups of guys for different teams, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same league, and we all have the same purpose. We just want to have fun and have some good, clean racing that you can't find in the officials. You know what I mean?
Most definitely not. And what's cool is 90% of these races, after the race or even during the race, we're usually all in the same Discord, hanging out, having good times, and it, like I said, it's all bragging rights, right? I mean, there's no actual competition, right? I mean, it's just
absolutely.
It's amongst the boys.
Yeah, it's bragging right. It's great, friendly competition. That's exactly what it is. I mean, like I said, everybody wants to win, and when you win, it's great. So Jamie Kephart took care of that business in the Dirt Street Stocks, winning it. Wyatt Walker silently coming into that 2 spot there ahead of Coy. Dennis Anderson into 4, Cole Howard into 5, 6, man. Way crazy to see Chris Jones down in the 6th spot there. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he got caught up into something in that race, but you don't see names like Jones in the 6, Beavers in the 7, and 8 is Derek Sellers. I mean, you don't see those 3 names that far down the board, Smolden.
You usually don't. It just shows you down that list of how tight skill-wise everybody is when it comes to these cars. You have, Kephart up front, but then everybody else is, I mean, they're right there. And what really blows my mind on this race is look at the incident points. There is nothing that pops out. I mean, a 4 is not bad for Cedar Lake. I mean, it really isn't.
Oh, yeah. When you're top 3, your top 3 guys only got 4 incident points combined. That is a fantastic job. All right, now we're going to head on over to our Wednesday night program, which starts off with the SK series over there, the Bull Metal SK Modified series. Love the new series that we got. It's bringing in a lot of new guys to want to race in the Modified division, but yet don't want to jump up into the Choice Inc. Modified Tour because the cars are faster, things are quicker. But the Bull Metal SK Modified series definitely putting on some fun racing action for us. So we're going to start off here. These boys just qualified out there And looking at the qualification here, it looks like our number one qualifier was let me see here. We got a mix up there. Let me see here. Where's our SKs? Right here at Bristol. We raced them at Bristol here. So our heat number one was Chris Jones ended up taking that heat number one in the bull medal at Bristol. A surprise there?
Not a surprise at all. He and to get back to the SK thing, I think that's probably the best new series you've put into your weekly run here. The tours are tough, so to get a modified or an SK in, I think it's going to be huge for the tours eventually. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it allowed the guys that want to come up and run the tours but get comfortable at least driving in an open wheel setting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, and these cars are tough to run. I mean, I struggle like you wouldn't believe in them. So the SK, seeing these guys come out, I think, like I said, I think this is probably the best move you've made in, well, a couple weeks at least, right? So
yeah, we try to make good moves every week there, Smolen. But we can't make miracles happen every day. But here's what we got. So our top three in the heat one there was Chris Jones, Adam Herr, and Mackenzie. Good to see Mackenzie back on the tour. Also another driver from Australia. So when you got two Australians in one heat and they're both in the top three, something in the water there, Smolen.
There's something in the water.
So we're going over to heat number two in the SK at Bristol, and let me tell you what, man, these guys are killing it out there. Once again, we see Derek Sellers winning a heat race. If he ain't winning a heat race, he's in the top three, or he's winning the feature. Derek Sellers taking heat number two. Robert Hughes in the 2 spot, and James Weathers weathering out the storm there in the 3 spot. Cole Howard just missed that cut at the 4. How's that heat for you?
It's looking good. I mean, obviously, we keep mentioning Sellers. He's probably one of the most consistent new guys we have for sure. And then Robert Hughes, good to see. And then Weathers, obviously, finishing out in the top 3.
Yeah, great job out there. Now we're going to head on over to the feature of the Bull Metal SK Modified Series. And like I said, we're looking at incident points here. And I know it's an entry level, but I'm still going to call them out because that's what we're doing. 14 incident points from Mackenzie. A little much tough there. A little much.
Yeah. Yes, that is very tough. Obviously, was not his night. Not too sure how many laps he has in these kind of cars. But when he stands out that much amongst everybody else, it definitely shows that he was struggling that night.
Yeah, and your top 3 finishers, Adam Herr taking home the win there. That's a familiar name. He's been in the league for a while now, but he actually finally got that win that he hasn't had in the league yet. So a breakthrough win for Adam there. Chris Jones bringing it home in a 2 spot, and Cole Howard in that 52 machine rounding out your top 3 there at Bristol in the SKs. And I look at the incident points for your top 3. We only have 8, and all 8 go to Cole Howard. Jones and Adam able to keep their noses clean in that race at Bristol.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole obviously struggled a little bit, had a couple of incidents early in the race. He was able to clean it up and thankfully, finish in the top 3. But those top 3 guys, though, Choice Inc. So it's looking good for the team there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looking good for those guys. So let's pull it over now and go to the Choice Inc. Modified Tour. Those boys were over at Lucas Oil Raceway this week. That's on a Wednesday night. That's February the 9th. And we did have heat races over there, rocking and rolling. In your first heat, once again, Chris Jones taking that spot. Derek Sellers, familiar face in the 2, and Rick Kelly for Chaos Motorsports out there, bringing it home in the 3 spot. Cole Howard again falling short, victim in the 4 spot. How about that heat?
It was another good heat. Obviously, we're seeing a trend on who's usually the fastest in the heats and consistent guys. But this one here was actually a really good one. They were all, nose to tail.
Yeah, very good job out there. Like I said, those drivers did a great job. Good to see Rick Kelly out there. Rick Kelly looking like he's running a limited schedule. Looks like he's coming around for the Wednesday and Thursday night series. Currently the only driver currently running for Chaos Motorsports. What do you think?
Yeah, they're. I don't think they have as many guys as they used to, but it's still good to see Kelly out on the track. It's always fun to race with him. He obviously knows what he's doing, and it's good to see him come back, or still be out here at least.
Yeah, very good. Yes, that is it. Now we're going to head over to heat number 2 there, where you're going to find Brad Carpenter. Brad Carpenter winning that heat there, heat number 2, and you had Jay Bones himself, the owner and operator for Choice Inc. over there, and your boss on the team there, the Choice Inc. Esports team owner there. J-Bones, and then Adam Herr finding his way in that 3 spot also. So how about that heat?
Yeah, it's a good one. Brad obviously was quick there. Jay was quick. Adam was there. It's always tough when the boss that writes the checks out there on the track with you. You know, you get a little nervous at times. You don't want to wreck him because you don't know if he's going to sign the next week's check for you. So you got to be a little easy on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look at some of the times there, and believe it or not, in that heat there, Adam Herr ran the best time out of all the drivers. Adam ran a 21.126, dominating in that heat. Now we'll go over to the main feature here where you're going to look at incident points, and boy, do we got a lot of them here, Smolden.
They racked them up. They sure did. They sure did. It's I don't know if they know, but the lower the number, the better, not the higher.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I don't know if and this is like I said, we're trying to come at you as honest and as true as we can. And now it's Wednesday, and Cole Howard has probably accumulated almost 100 incident points in 3 days. Is that a problem?
We might have to work on him a little bit. I'm thinking every incident point he gets throughout the week, he owes us $1, right?
Yeah.
Every incident point, $1. I bet those numbers lower a little bit.
Well, I'm concerned. We're on the 3rd race of the week. I know we only run 4 days, but I mean, we're almost at 100 incident points here.
It's tough. It's tough. He's struggled this week, and you could hear it behind the scenes in the races, after the races or whatnot. You could tell that this week just was not his week. I have him sometimes. Everybody else has him sometimes, but it's unfortunate it was one of our teammates. But I'm glad it was one of our teammates because we'll talk him through this and we'll get him back up to pace.
Absolutely. And then we see right behind him there, Rick Kelly, 16 incident points, finishing 5th. But that 16, man, that's a tough one, man. The 16 to 20. And then, like I said, the incident points, man, they rattle me. I don't know what it is, man. I just get these fucking chills, and I just got to be put down. I can't deal with incident points, Smolden.
Me neither. I mean, obviously, what's nice about this incident point spread that you got here, though, is that there's only 3 other guys that really have high ones, and nobody else was taken out by, say, Cole's high incident points or Rick's high incident points. I think most of them were self-enduring. So
yeah, yes,
I'd rather you take yourself out versus take the whole field out and bump everybody's incident points.
Now let's talk a little bit about Nick Bradham here. I mean, the guy. I mean, he's been on a rail, man. He's won, I believe, the last 5 or 4 Choice Inc. races. I mean, is he a glitch, or we just can't figure him out, or is just the track's going in his favor? I mean, what's going on with Nick, and how's he winning all these races? I mean, and I know it's got to be frustrating for some of these drivers to come out every week and feel like they got to finish second. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely frustrating. I'm going to go with all the above. I think he's just that good. The tracks are just working out in his favor. It helps starting up front every single time, and a couple cautions here and there allows them to save some tires where other guys are probably trying to push a little too hard, burning their stuff up. And I mean, he led 49 laps. I mean, that tells you right there out of 50. There's only 50 of them, right? And he led 49.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Not to mention the 49 laps that he led, he had 0 incident points. 0.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with him, but I also want everybody to realize, too, he's not just that much quicker. He ran the fastest time of that race at a 20.964. Jess Gordon was right behind him at a 20.970. So I don't think so much of a glitch. But I think the dude's definitely got it going on in these tour mods, and he's tearing this series apart.
He came in here, and he's saying, I am the boss. Watch me, and if you don't like it, you got to catch me. And so far, nobody's catching him.
And that's the thing. I mean, you look at some of these names that are falling back here. Brad Carpenter, who took that heat race, falls back to the 10. Actually got disconnected after an earlier incident with Chris Jones, which then put Chris Jones a few laps back. Chris Jones only finished in 41 of the 50 laps needed to finish his race, and Brad Carpenter only finished 18 of the 50. So not only did these guys take a huge point hit, but it's names that you don't see in the back that are back there. You know what I mean?
Usually not. No. Normally these guys are up front. If not up front, they're in the top 3. Absolutely. And solid drivers too. I mean, you never see Jones 9 laps down. Even Adam in the race prior, he won, right? So, I mean, that's a tough night for a couple of the guys, but that's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's racing. So big shout out to them top three. That's Nick, Jess, and Valentine in the Choice Inc. Modified Tour. And those boys were racing over at Lucas Oil Raceway. So we'll head over now and check out how the bull ring went in the Chaos Pro Late Model division. And those boys just qualified and they ran the race. And their number one qualifier, maybe a surprise to some, not really to me, Chris Jones qualifying number one at the bull ring. Smolden.
Yeah, he knows how to qualify. The guy's quick, like I said. I don't want to keep sounding like I'm talking about the same thing, but he knows how to race, and it doesn't matter if it's on pavement. It doesn't matter if it's got a wing on dirt. It don't matter. He can run a car.
Yeah, Chris Jones definitely doesn't care what he's running. As long as you can get him on the track, give him a little bit of time, he's going to figure it out. Your number two qualifier, Cole Howard, like I said, great run out there for him in the feature. And your third place qualifier was Jess Gordon. So the way the race ended here was pretty much how the race started. Cole Howard won the race, but he started in second. Chris Jones came in second in the race, started first. And Jess Gordon finished third in the race, and he started third. And I want to say this. Their top three guys, 0 incident points at the bull ring, and that included Cole Howard.
Absolutely. He cleaned himself up after that, the last couple of races. He knew he was struggling a little bit and had to clean himself up, and he showed it. Him and Jonesy qualified 1-2. It was a great race between the both of them for sure. These guys really know how to run these cars too, so no surprise that they finished 1-2. They flip-flopped on qualifying spots. Obviously, the outside line on the restart or initial start probably was the best possible position for Cole. But then you got a clean racer in Jones too, right? That's not going to push the envelope, especially on a teammate. But it was good to see both teammates there for sure have 0 incident points at the end of the race and come 1-2.
Yeah, it's an absolute dominating performance there for the Choice Inc. Esports guys, 1-2, and Gordon in the 3 spot. So great race over at the bull ring there. Now let's head over to finishing out the night strong. That's going to be on a Thursday night, the race that we just got done doing at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Winter Cup Series. No surprise out here tonight. Like I said, we had a great turnout of guys showing up to race Bristol in the Cup cars, and we qualified them, and your number one qualifier was Jess Gordon, running looks like a 14.972. Not bad, man. What do you think of that?
He was absolutely dominant tonight. Not a single person had anything to even say or match up against him. What I can say, though, there was only one caution out there, and that one caution was created by me. That would be my fault, fellas. I apologize for that one. I struggled like you wouldn't believe out there myself. Embarrassing to say anything. I should have just been up in the booth with you, which I called off before the race even started. I said it was probably a mistake that I even go out there. But let's not take away from how dominant Jess was. Even Jonesy, Parks, all those guys were great up front. I mean, I don't know how those guys were getting lap times like that. I just don't get it.
No, absolutely. And like I said, it goes back, and here's where I'm at again. Like I said, incident points, I'm shaking. I need a blanket. I'm freezing. So, one caution, and we have 2 drivers with 12 incident points. Cody, and the other driver was Brandon Parks. Your top 3, one of your top 3 drivers with 12 incident points. And there's a ton of drivers with 8, 8, 8, 6. And there was only one caution. Is that just beating and banging at Bristol? Is that just hitting the outside wall coming around? I mean, what is all those incident points from, Smolden?
That is most definitely probably going to be hitting the outside wall. Just that car rolls at such a weird time, at least for me. That you think you can get on it, and as soon as you get on it, you're like, oh shit, I got on it way too early, and you just drive right to the outside wall. I mean, it's impossible to go faster that place, I feel like, and not hit the outside wall. But then you have Jess Gordon up there just putting down burners and 0 incident points. So I don't know. I mean, if you're good, you're good. If you're bad, you finish where I did, which was 10th place. Yeah. So I mean, it's Bristol, baby.
It's Bristol, baby. You're right. And you qualified 5th. Not bad. You only dropped 5 spots. And, hey, not a bad night for Smolden out there. But, hey, your top 3, great job out there tonight at Bristol in the Winter Cup Series. That was Gordon, Jones, and Brandon Parks, your top 3. Cole, again, falling short, man. Cole Howard just at that 4 spot. Jamie Kephart falling short. Derek Sellers, like I said, It's crazy. You know, the week starts strong and then it fades and fades and fades. So some of those names you see normally in the top three. And not to mention, we had a Kyle Reuter sighting tonight. He kind of came in late. Didn't he miss qualifying?
Yeah, he missed qualifying, and I think he just, unfortunately, the caution that I created, he got caught up into it. You know, a couple cars got into me after I hit the wall, and uh, obviously at that point, it would have been a tough night for him. And it's always tough when you miss practice, you miss qualifying, and then you just jump into the race and try figuring out what you have, going for yourself. Especially at Bristol in the Cup cars, it's a very tough go. So it's unfortunate to see him not out there. I mean, that guy is unbelievably fast on anything on pavement or any car, really. Anytime I race with him, I know he's going to show up with his A game. So, great week overall, I think. I mean, I think we cleaned it up a little bit, but uh, overall, I think they're fun races. We had some really good races this week, couple of ones that probably could be improved, but I'm looking forward to next week, like always.
Yeah, next week, man, it was a great week of racing. All the drivers did a great job. I appreciate all the fans, all the support from everybody hanging out with us all week long. Like I said, we're going to do it again next week. Give you a quick breakdown here of how next week's going to look like. We're going to start on Monday, February 14th at right around 9 o'clock. We're going to be racing the street stocks at USA. How do you feel about that, Smolden?
I feel good. I'm gonna try my best to make it for that one. Anything on pavement I struggle with usually, but USA, it's always a fun track, and those street stocks are fast there too, right? You got long front and back stretch, so it's usually a good time.
Yep, and then we're going to hit up the 203 Truck Series that right after the street stocks, and that's going to be at Talladega Super Speedway, where I know it's going to be crazy.
It 100% is going to be crazy. We, as all the drivers, my team included, we are going to be bringing out some fast trucks. So I hope everybody's willing to watch and sit back and watch a good show.
And then on February 15th, it's going to be the dirt, and we're going to be racing everything again at USA, but on the dirt side of the track. We're going to throw some dirt and sand on there, and we're going to make a racetrack, and we're going to run 4 different series there, the 360s, the big blocks, the pro late models, and the street stocks. That should be a great one at USA.
Yeah, the track crew's got some serious work to do. We threw the late schedule item saying, "Hey, we have pavement this night, and then tomorrow it's dirt, baby. So let's do this. It should be fun. It's a lot of racing at USA."
Yeah, definitely a lot of USA this week. And then we're going to go with the Bull Meadow SK Series. They're going to be running the Southern National, another great historic track to have the SKs at. That should be a fun one.
Yes, it's always a good time going down to Southern National. It's a lot of people enjoy that track, so it's a historic track. So we should have a good time there.
And then the Choice Inc. Modified Tour on February 16th is going to be at North Wilkesboro. A historic track also, very fun. It can get crazy in a tour modified quickly, Smolden.
It sure can. Those cars have a lot of power, and that North Wilkesboro track, it's meant to be a show.
All right, perfect. And now we're going to head on over to the Pro Late Models, the Chaos Pro Late Model Series. That's also February 16th. That's the third race right after the Choice Inc. Modifieds. And that race is going to be at Martinsville. The Paperclip. Exciting? Boring? How do you feel about the Paperclip?
I got to say, it's probably the most exciting track that the Pro Late Models will be at this year. So it's a very difficult track to run. The top of the top have to show up, and you got to be on your A game. It doesn't, one mistake, you're done, right? You got to be flawless the whole night.
Yes, sir. And then on February 17th, we're going to have the Winter Cup Series going again. That's going to be on next Thursday night, and they're going to be racing at your hometown, man, Michigan International Speedway. Are you excited for that one?
Yeah, it's going to be nice. I'll be able to actually sleep in my own bed before I got to go to the racetrack. I don't have to sleep in a hotel or, people knocking on my door for room service or anything like that. I can wake up and just, basically walk to the track and call it good.
All right, now we're going to reach the point of the show that we're going to do every time we do this podcast. Every Thursday night, you guys are going to have this scene at the end here where we're going to pick alternating times here. This week, Smolden's going to pick who he thinks was the stud of the week in the league. Who you taking?
The stud of the week this week, I'm going to have to go with Coy. I think he showed up on dirt and just kind of dominated, and I don't think anybody was going to expect that, I guess. I didn't expect it. I think Coy was the guy that stood out the most to me. I mean, he was very dominant on Tuesday night.
All right, so he's taking Coy as the stud of the week, and I'm going to take the dud this week. And next week, Smolden will take the dud, and I'll take the stud. And the dud to me this week is going to be Cole Howard. I felt like the incident points racked up way too early for him throughout the week. He did get settled in near the end, but it was way too many incident points for the first 3 weeks. So in my book, the dud is going to Cole Howard this week.
I have to agree. He's a buddy, he's a teammate, but he had a very rough week. But hopefully we can bounce back, and we'll see what happens next week.
It's going to be a good one. Smolden, it's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you being here and doing this with us, the Hawk and Smolen podcast. Smolden, you have a great night, my man.
You as well, sir. Appreciate you having me up here.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Hawk and Smolen podcast out.